Happy Canada Day! Woo! Happy Canada Day to all of my fellow Canadians out there. I was going to put on my plaid and my jean jacket and my toque, but it's really hot, so just pretend I did it. Besides, I'm plenty Canadian. I thought for Canada Day I would recommend a Canadian author. So, Richard Wagamese. He is a Canadian author, or he died in 2017. He was originally from Ontario. He was Ojibwe, and so he was an Indigenous man. He has his story, you guys. I'll give you the Cliff's Notes. When he was 2, him and his siblings were left alone by the adults who went binge drinking, and they ran away, I think, and they were taken away from their family. The adults, I know it's easy to be mad at them because that was obviously shitty, but this was back in 1955. The adults in his life were put through the residential school system in Canada, which, if you don't know about residential schools, look it up. It's horrible, and there is a ton of generational trauma from them. So, sucks. Anyways, he was then put through foster care and eventually adopted, but he was beaten and treated horribly all through his childhood and teens. He was homeless for a while and addicted. He would go to the library to warm up, and then he started to read. Eventually he went home and reconnected with his roots. He wanted to know more about the spiritual side of his tribe. And yeah, he went home, and the tribe leader gave him his name, which is, I'm not even going to try. It will probably be offensive if I even attempt it. So this is it. And it means buffalo cloud. So, and he told him that he was meant to be a storyteller. So I'm going to talk about 2 books. One I've read, one I haven't. This one is Ragged Company. It's fantastic. It was a book club pick. Everybody loved it. It follows 5 characters, 4 of which are homeless. And he writes about homelessness and addiction so well because he's lived it. So these 4 characters, you get to meet them and discover what brought them to the streets and what keeps them there. So there's a super cold winter, and a bunch of homeless people are dying in the cold. So they put together their money and get tickets to go to the movies. And they fall in love with the movies, and it becomes their ritual. Then when they're at the movies, they meet the 5th character, who is not homeless, but we learn about him, and he originally is very standoffish to these homeless people, but over time he learns who they are and their stories, and it's... Sorry, my hair is so long and it's so hot, it's sticking to me. Yeah, so we learn their stories, and plot twist, they win the lottery. So now these characters who have had nothing, they don't have ID, they don't have anything, win the lottery, and they have more money than they will ever know what to do with. It's really, really good. It's beautiful to read. His writing style is poetic but not flowery. Pick him up. The other one I have not read, but I have heard plenty about, and I really, really want to read it. I have been avoiding it, though, because I had a baby 5 months ago, and so I'm still a little bit sensitive to stories that have bad things happen to kids, which actually, trigger warning, I guess, something very bad does happen to a kid in this book. and a couple kids. If that's a deal breaker for you, then maybe skip it. But it is really good. I did find that really hard, though. Anyways, Indian Horse. He won an award for Indian Horse. It was the Burt Award for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis literature. Let me check. Burt Award for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit literature. That's what I said, right? From what I understand, it follows some children who are put in the residential school system, and it shows a lot of realities of that, which once again he has experience with, being that that's a trauma from his culture and that his family had firsthand experience with. Okay, so the story is about these kids in the school system and hockey. One of the women in my book club read it and she said that she does not care about hockey at all, but reading this book, she cared about hockey so deeply. So that's very fitting for all of my Canadians in the room. They made a movie about it, which I've heard was really well done. I haven't watched it because I like to read first and then watch. That way I can complain about it the whole time, that it's not the same as the book. It brings me joy. Yeah, I guess those were the two I was going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about a third one because I can. The last book he ever wrote was called Starlight, and he died while he was writing it. He's kind of a local author, I like to think, because even though he's from Ontario, he died in Kamloops, which is not where I live, but it's in the same province. So if you expand your definition of local author. Anyways, so he died while he was writing this book, and the publisher and his estate decided to publish what he had. They did like minimal editing to it. There's a whole thing in the back of the book that tells you what's up. Some of the people who were close to him knew some stuff about the book and how he intended for it to end, so they add that. And from what I've heard, it's a really, really good one too. So yes, happy Canada Day, everybody. Pick up a Canadian author, pick up an Indigenous author. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, click like. If you want to subscribe. I'm new here, so are you. Let's grow together. I also have an Instagram here. Click on that and hang out with me there. I post pictures of books and